Hey, is that there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
The show is Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin, and our guest today is Russ Rentler. Howdy, Russ. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me tonight. Appreciate it.
That was a couple of interesting tunes. Why don't you tell us about the tunes you just played on the hammer dulcimer?
The first tune was called Planks Die Flew Hardy, and it was a little tune I wrote for a little kid who was born, sort of a little song introducing him to the world. So for the rest of his life, when people read my CD title, they'll see his name. So that's about 50 people now who might see his name. So the next tune was a little tune I wrote called Jacob's Ladder, and kind of had a sense of ascending. I wanted to give it that sense. And this is my favorite instrument. I probably say that about all my instruments, but I think that's definitely the favorite one. And I apologize for being a little out of tune. I don't know if our viewing audience realized the air conditioning's off, and it's about as warm as it is in Iraq right now. So, so we look cool and collected, but it's about 110 degrees in here. Is that true, Ralph? Or give or take?
I don't know if it's 110, but it's warm. It's plenty warm.
It's warm.
Also, I should just mention that you made this instrument, and it sounds really nice.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I had the opportunity to make about 4 of them, and over a period of time in my spare time, and then I decided I wanted to play music better than build instruments, because a friend of mine had cut a finger off, and I thought probably not worth it to risk that. So I'd rather play than build. So hopefully that's the last one, which may make it more valuable in case anybody's interested out in our viewing audience.
Okay.
Just kidding. I'm going to do another tune. This is an auto harp. They call them corded zithers. The name auto harp is actually licensed. So this is a corded zither that a friend of mine from Montclair, New Jersey built, named Bob Taylor, and it's just about the sweetest instrument. I'm going to do
It's a beauty, too.
It really is pretty. It's just made of wonderful wood, maple back and spruce top and rosewood for the chord bars and maple. And this is a song I do called Jesu, Joy Man's Desire, written by Johann Sebastian Bach. He actually wrote it for the auto harp because there was no organs at the time, and then a few years later he got organs and then rearranged it. But it was originally, as you'll hear, you'll say, I knew that sounded better on an auto harp than an organ. So I'm going to hopefully prove that to the audience. And I think this is one of my favorite instruments. I always say that when I'm playing in a bar, actually not a bar, but a restaurant, this is one that people always sort of look up from their lattes and listen. So it's kind of something that makes them listen a little bit. I'm happy to have a great instrument. I have a tour of instruments tonight. Is that okay?
That's okay with us,
If we do a tour of instruments. And I think the next one we're going to do is we're going to go to the British Isles and by way of Greece and play this instrument called a bouzouki. And this is an instrument that was kind of like a long neck mandolin, and being called a bouzouki, it's probably one of the most violent instruments of folk music. being a bouzouki and all, but I'll play peacefully, hopefully, tonight. So just got to find the right harmonica. Here we go. You can tell I'm a professional here, so don't worry, it'll all work out in the end there. This is live, right, Ralph?
We're live,
We're live.
to tape.
We're live to tape, so
No post-production editing on this show.
that's right.
No
So,
trick photography.
none at all, no smoke, no smoke and mirrors. So we got to watch what we say, otherwise it would get, you know, isn't there usually whenever I play, the folks, since I have a reputation, they always have like a little delay on my words. So oftentimes, even live, the sound guy has a delay. No, I'm just teasing about that.
We can bleep you out if necessary.
Okay, I don't think so. Only bleep out the bad ones, bleep out the bad notes. So when I hit the bad notes, you can bleep those out. This is a little tune I wrote called Skip Fairy Reel, and it's kind of an instrumental, and it's not about Skip nor about fairies, nor is it a reel, but it sounded like a good name for it. So.
Play the harmonica with that.
You know what? I am. The next little tune I'm going to do. I was just trying to fake you out a little bit, Ralph.
You got me.
It's always try to fake out the host there. It always makes the show go a lot better when he gets angry at you. You know, it creates a nice tension between the host and the artist, and just always makes the show go great. You know. Next tune I'm going to do, because I forgot to play the harmonica on that one, it's called The Hills of Connemara, and this is a traditional Irish tune. Have you ever heard this? It's
It sounds like a familiar name of
yeah,
tune to me.
I don't know what Connemara means. It probably has some strange ancient Gaelic meaning. It probably means stop talking and play the music. So. Hills of Connemara. Let's see, Ralph, should I play another instrument?
If you would like to play another instrument, by all means play another instrument.
Tell you what, why don't you do this one with me? This is a little blues tune, and this is called the Hypertension Blues. And just for our listening audience, this is kind of a song I say, this is where, is in the key of G, and this is where what I call renal physiology meets Old Testament theology. There's a lot of little song about Lot's wife. In the Bible, she got turned into a pillar of salt, and us medical folks say that salt increases your hypertension or your risk, therefore. So that's kind of what the story's about, is Lot's wife turning into a pillar of salt. I would believe she'd have pretty bad hypertension with all that salt. So
I would guess so.
yeah, so this is the Hypertension Blues.
We should tell folks that you are a medical doctor, so you know whereof you speak.
That's right, that's right. Licensed to practice in the state of Pennsylvania, believe it or not, and it's just kind of a scary thought that I trained in New Jersey, though, New Jersey Medical School. It was a third world medical school, actually. I'm just kidding. Do you have a lot of folks from Newark watching the show? I apologize to them.
No, but I have a friend who teaches at New Jersey.
Yeah, really, at the medical school
Yeah.
there. Wow. Do they remember me?
I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
I was not too memorable there. It was a class of about 3,000 people. So it was a school where the sort of on the school insignia was see one, do one, teach one. And that's how you learn medicine. You're in there with the gallbladder and you're holding a clamp. You see that? Not really. Well, why don't you do it? Okay. And then and then the student comes in and, okay, now you teach it. And with brain surgery, maybe that's why malpractice is so high in Pennsylvania. The see one, do one, teach one method isn't working so good. But, anyway, back to the hypertension blues. I apologize for that little tangential part. I did leave my lithium in the glove compartment tonight. Long story short, it's called Hypertension Blues. Ralph and I are going to trade off the licks on a harmonica. Mama Lot. Hypertension blues. Ralph Litwin on harmonica. That's very nice. I enjoyed that. Thank you. You've done that before. You've played that instrument before.
I tried.
I can tell. Well, folks, do we have time for another instrument?
Yes, we have time for more than one more instrument.
Well, I just happened, isn't that funny you should say that, because I just happened to have brought a few more instruments. And this here is an instrument called a dobro for our fine cameramen to look at and to shine in their eyes. I'll try to reflect it so it blinds them a little bit. Is that unfair to do? I apologize, guys. But this here is, they're going to beat me up. When I get in the parking lot, I'm going to lose my legs. These guys are from New Jersey here. I'm from Pennsylvania, you know, and I don't know, I was a little scared. One guy, I thought he had like a, I don't know what you call it, kind of a New Jersey northern accent, or was Boston, but it was kind of getting me a little scared. But anyway, this is a dobro. It has a resonator in it. It makes it a little louder. The dobro was first developed in California. There was a blind blues player who was playing on a street corner, and Volkswagen came whipping by and hit the curb, and what happened is the hubcap came and lodged under the strings of his guitar, making it he found it made it this really bright noise. So that kind of is how the dobro came about. If you believe that story, I do have some interesting stock tips I could share with you later on if you want to find out about that. There's a little song I do called Maggie's Blues. It's about my dog Maggie, who got locked up in a crate on a daily basis to train her in a way to not organically feed the carpet, because dogs like to do that. They like to feed carpets with organic things. And so we put her in a crate all day. Did you ever hear that, Ralph, called crating a dog?
Yes, I have heard of that.
You spend a large amount of money for these little dogs. You know, I call them non-dogs, Shih Tzus, you know, and non-dogs, you know, they're little dogs. And you put them in a crate all day after you spend. So this is a song written from my dog's point of view, because I think if you're in that crate all day, you might get a little bit depressed. So. I got too much time on my hands. I said, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my hands. You lock me up in this cage all day till I fulfill your demand. Whoever said it's a dog's life has never lived with me. Locked up in this cage all day is a tragic destiny. Well, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my hands. Cage all day till I fulfill your demand. This brown food you're feeding me is called the science diet. Well, if it really tastes so good, why don't the scientists try it? Well, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my hands. You lock me up in this cage all day till I fulfill your demand. I said, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my hands. I got too much time on my hands. You lock me up in this cage all day till I fulfill your demand. If dogs can get depression, I'd be the first to know. If they made puppy Prozac and take an overdose, well, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my hands. You lock me up in this cage all day till I fulfill your demand. Well, these anthropomorphisms you're teaching me are starting to make me yawn. All I really want to do is empty my bladder on the lawn. Well, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my hands. You lock me up in this cage all day till I fulfill your demand. I said, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my paws. I said, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my paws. You lock me up in this cage all day, and I don't think you got this cause. If I could reach a telephone and tell you what I'd do, I'd call up the ASPCA and tell them all about you. Well, throw me a bone. I got too much time on my hands. You lock me up in this cage all day till I fulfill your demand. All right. Thank you.
Now, before we run out of time, we want to tell folks how to get in touch with you, Russ.
Sure.
I can't read it. You tell me.
Okay, it's Russ Rentler. If you go to my website, it's www.russrentler.com, russrentler.com, and that's how you can get a hold of me.
And you have a compact disc out of your recordings, and folks can find out about where you're going to be playing and information about the recording and probably other tidbits on your website there and by emailing you.
That's right. True and unusual stories can be found at my website. That's right.
Now, you remind me of that old joke. What would a folk musician do when he wins the lottery?
I don't know what.
Keep on playing until the money runs out.
That's really true. Do you have time for any more music here?
Yeah, we got another 4 minutes.
Another 4 minutes. Well, I think in 4 minutes we can probably we can do a quick instrumental, and then we'll go down with a little blues. This is a quick instrumental called Footsteps. Got 103 heat in here is it's taking
Doing a
its
number
toll.
on the Martin.
Well, you just bring it back to the factory. They'll give you a brand new one. Did you know that? It's a new guarantee. You just tell them Russ sent you, and they'll give you a brand new guitar. If you leave it out in the rain, it gets wet, and you get a tire track on it, just take the tire track off the face of it before you bring it back. They won't know, because it's got that lifetime guarantee.
Pretty.
Thank you.
What's the name of that one?
That's called Footsteps, Ralph. And it's just a little. I do it with mandolin and guitar. It's on my CD. And